Hey guys, welcome back. Here we have my Go Plus air sanitizer with UV function. I've had this unit for a little over a year at this point, and it's about time for a cleaning. So in this video, what I'm going to be doing is basically just going over some of the functions in detail. We're going to look at whether they actually do anything or not. And let me tell you, this unit has a couple of nice features. It has a bio UV filter, and it has several different levels of purification, not to mention different fan levels. And it also is claimed to be very high efficiency. And guess what? We're going to test it out with my kilowatt. We'll be able to tell the amount of power and watts they draw from several different functions. So for now, let's just start it up, see what it sounds like. Okay, so we're going to be using this remote. This was bundled with this unit. Pretty great deal. Just before we start, let me just mention that I paid $100 for this on eBay. Here's a couple of pictures of this unit available now on Amazon. As you could tell, prices fluctuate drastically. It looks like you can get it for a little under $200 at this point. But either way, let's start her up. And the remote works. That's nice. Okay, so its first setting that it starts on with is you have 2 out of these 4 fan settings. So it's actually pretty quiet as it is. The setting that I use it on is generally just the lowest setting. You don't have any of these LEDs lit up. And this is a nice, quiet, comfortable setting. It has a good amount of airflow coming out of the front. It's rated for, at max, 3,500 square feet, which is enormous. That's higher than the average size of a normal house. The function I use most is this bio UV function. So as I put it on, you can't tell now, but I'm going to show you guys a picture of the light that goes up top there. There's a little honeycomb element, and there's actually a light there. So usually I use this, the UV light. It's pretty good. It's good for reducing germs, especially if you have a cold. You could sleep with it, and it's very safe and pretty comfortable. So in addition to that, you also have a purifier. I'm going to turn it on, and you can't really hear it, but there was a little bit of an electrostatic cling. And instantly, as I smell it, the air smells completely different. It smells ionized, and it's very, very obvious just to me standing here. You also have 5 different purification levels. I usually just use the first level. It's pretty strong in itself, and I usually don't use it for more than about a half an hour at a time. You have several other functions here, obviously for fan control. You have you can go away to set it for max time, and you could also reset all the functions. But either way, that's not the point. I showed you guys everything works. The functions are pretty cool. Let's just take a look at the back of it to see how dirty this thing actually got. They claim that it's a 5-stage air purification system, but I'll tell you right now, let me just put a picture here. The front fan blades are very filthy. Now, I've never actually cleaned the front blade itself, and that's basically, a dust collection for over a year. But let's just take a look at the back of the filter. I'm going to disassemble it here for you guys. As you could tell, the back has a good amount of dust. Now, this is actually the main filter. All you need to do is just remove 1 screw here, and the filter itself will basically come out, and you could vacuum it, wash it, do whatever you want. I normally just vacuum it. Okay, so let's lift the filter out, and you could tell the back of it is fairly clean. There's nothing you could see through it. It's a very thick kind of filter. As a matter of fact, I'm curious myself to see how thick it is. Let me just take this really bright mag light. As you could tell, it's on. I'm going to shine it through the back of it. We'll see if we could see any penetration. So we could see some kind of light penetration, but it's very minimal. As you could tell, this is a really bright light. Let me not shine it at the camera. So it looks like to be, at least 2 kind of some stages of something, but the back of the filter is fairly clean. I don't see any dust. So it was able to actually stop most of the dust from coming in, but here you could just vacuum all this out, and that's what I'm going to do right now. We're going to be using my Dyson DC35 right here. Okay guys, it looks much cleaner. So that's as much as I'm going to do. I'm not going to wash it. The other side is fine. And at this point, you could basically just reinstall this back into the fan and you're good to go for at least another 3 months. Now keep in mind, I use this overnight. I basically sleep with it. I even like the kind of noise, the background noise it makes. It's pretty soothing. There's no weird kind of really irritating fan noises, but it's pretty good. On the inside of this unit, let's just take a look at this. It's pretty complicated actually. So what you have here is, this is, as I said before, what they claim to be is the honeycomb UV structure. So there is a UV light on the inside of this, and I showed you guys a picture of it before, what it looks like. Basically, it's kind of a honeycomb structure to make sure that you do not stare directly at the UV light lamp, because that will be damaging to your eyes for sure. Here we have the actual ionization plate. You have this little metal element here, and it actually electrifies the air. That is how this thing works. Pretty great unit. I've never touched that yet. I haven't really messed with it, but as you could tell, the inside of this unit doesn't really have that much dust. There is minimal dusting there, of course, but it looks like the filter itself is working well. And really, I can say that I'm pretty happy with this purchase. So now let's just take a moment and some different conditions here to run through some of the functions. As you can tell right now, the actual unit is on. It says basically just high efficient sterilizer. Not efficiency, just efficient. So as I power it on, it returns to the last setting that I had it on at. It automatically goes back to the lowest fan mode. As you could tell, it's the lowest because there's no indicators here on the bottom that are glowing up. So if I want to raise the fan speed, you could just press like that. You could see that it's going up a little bit. And right now is the maximum setting. So it's still not really that loud. The amount of air output is pretty substantial, I gotta say. It's pretty even and normal. No weird kind of drones or cyclical noises coming from the fan itself. So for now, let's just keep it kind of on 1. So it's just not too loud while I'm recording this. So let's put on the Bio UV filter. We're gonna pretty much press this button and we'll notice up here on top, there's gonna be kind of a blue light, which is the UV light. So you could tell it's on and you could see inside the kind of a small honeycomb design. That's so in case you wanted to get really close to it. Let's say you just wanted to look at it with your face like this, you can't look at it. So the light is kind of hidden behind the upward mounted UV honeycomb filter. And that's basically how it works, so there's no way you could really damage your eyes. I sometimes keep it on for a couple hours at a time, especially when I have a cold. And I gotta tell you, I've noticed a significant difference in the length of the colds that I've had. So it definitely does something to kill the germs and the actual, I guess, any kind of bacteria. Let's say you sneeze or cough. Obviously, the air will be filtered and cleaned, not only through the actual filter in the back, as you saw previously, but also through the actual Bio UV filter. Now, in addition to this, you could also add in the purification function. So as I put in the purification, I kind of made a little bit of a noise, and you could tell on top here, you can't really see it. So let me put on a couple more modes. So as I put on, you see right there on the screen, it has several stages of purification. We have 5 levels of purification. So on the 5th level, the smell is just, smells kind of like, well, obviously ionized air. So usually I keep it on just 1 on the 1st level for maybe a half an hour. And I gotta say, my room smells kind of like a hospital. It's very obvious, very potent. So right now I'll just turn it off and see what else we have. So we also have this away function, which will activate kind of the timer. As you could tell, it goes on max. Everything is now activated. Everything, the whole screen is lit up, and you can control the time that you have. So you could either do, more time or less time. So you can go through the timer settings and it'll automatically turn off. So it goes through 2, 4, 6, 8 hours and then back to how you had it before. So right now we have the purification off. You always have this anion. So it's basically always kind of ionizing the air a little bit. You don't really notice it, pretty much just a regular fan. I keep it on all the time at night. You also have, you know, let's see. Well, this is just the regular UV stuff, normal or high. And obviously, well, this button actually does the same thing for some reason right now. You could also do reset, where, you know, we're not going to do that right now. It's normal, and you could power it off. Let's power it back on, and you could tell it returns back to the setting that I had it set previously too. So just 1, you know, even 2 is really, really nice. But I normally keep it like this, as I mentioned before, and just the Bio UV filter on top. As you could tell, it's active. Overall, very satisfied with this unit, guys. If you can get this for $100, which is what I paid for it years ago, make sure you get this. It's also great if you put it in like your large family room or living room whenever you have people over. It's nice, it's quiet, and it's a kind of cool looking machine. Nice kind of faux wood design on the outside. Really attractive looking thing, and I kind of like the lights too. And in terms of power draw, you saw it doesn't really consume that much power, which is something that I'm always happy about. Never want something to kind of use too much power, of course. But there it is, guys. If you have any questions about any of these other functions, or you're curious on how to see what to do, please let me know. Thanks so much.